Bots are everywhere in Population One, and a lot of people don't realize you can easily spot them once you learn what you're looking for. Can you spot them? If not, in just a few minutes, you'll be able to spot bots in the first 3 seconds of any match from here on out. Point number 3 is probably the most telling sign, but you don't always get to see that part, so let's start with number 1. The first place we see bots is the platform. This is by far the first place because it's the first thing you see. Humans run to the force field and either fly down or start crawling up the walls like a bunch of little monkeys. They'll also hot drop, which is when you jump straight off the platform without a pod. Bots are much more predictable on the platform. As a matter of fact, they all do the exact same thing. Your teams will be in 3 and sometimes in 2, so make sure and spot a group of 3 or 2 that are moving together in a straight line almost the exact same speed. You see those? Yeah, they're bots. Humans either travel at different speeds or put their arms out to fly to go faster, or they try communicating with you because humans are happy to see other humans, unlike robots, which really don't care. If you forget to look for bots during the platform stage because you were communicating with your buddies, it's no big deal because the second way to tell if you're dealing with bots is by the pods. The pods that fly together land together. Give the video a like if you've noticed this before. Humans get in the pods at different times, often fighting over who gets which pod. Some people will press down on the thumbstick to run, while others will just push forward, meaning the human speeds will be a little bit different than each other. Some will fly to the pods and some will crawl on the walls like I talked about before to get a view of what others are doing. All these human mannerisms means that when the pods are flying in the sky, they'll be spread out. If you see 2 or 3 pods clumped together in the sky after launch, these are likely bots. They move at the exact same speed, meaning that they get in at the exact same time unless someone steals your pod. So just look around and find the clumps of 3, and that likely is where your bots are going to be flying. But the next part is the most telling. Bots land in a few predetermined spots and never eject. Humans just about always eject unless they're brand new. Bots will never eject midway through the ride and start flying. Their pods have predetermined areas that they'll land in. Oftentimes, you can mark where they'll be landing, get to them first, and take out the whole team with just your blade, which you'll have at the start of the match. So when you spot these clumps of 2 or 3, just follow them until the pods start to automatically land in the exact same time. If people start flying out, they're not bots. The bots always ride the pod straight to the ground. Most humans don't do this. Let me know in the comments if you are a human, but you refuse to fly out of the pod, and more importantly, why? What's your strategy? But a few of their mannerisms have some telltale signs that let you know you're definitely not dealing with a human. Once you've landed, it starts to get a little bit more tricky, but if you just relax and assess the situation, you can spot bots on the ground too, easily. When a bot grabs a one-handed weapon, it shoots it with one hand. Makes sense, but when bots grab two-handed weapons, it shoots it, you guessed it, still just with one hand. Most of the time, people don't do this, and if you do, tell me, why? Two hands give the weapon less recoil and more stability, but bots don't care. They just fire at will. Oftentimes, they'll shoot weird weapons with one hand as well, like they'll be 50 yards from you, shooting at you with one hand with an SPR or an AWP. Has this happened to you? Bots have really strange behavior, which brings me to my next point. Bots don't properly evade or juke. They move in patterns. Bots don't really move unexpectedly quite the way a human does. If I'm shooting at a bot far away, it'll stand perfectly still while I'm shooting, or it'll move very slowly to the left or right in a weird strafe pattern. Just look at them all having a shootout with each other. Stupid bots. They barely move, and let's say one gets close enough to shoot at. You can literally just run alongside them and they'll miss every shot if they have a slow shooting gun like an FAL. A human would just adjust with a little lead and shoot you where you're headed, not where you're currently standing. If you want a clue as to whether or not there'll be a lot of bots in a lobby, just look at how many players are in the waiting room before the match starts. If it starts with just a couple of people, you'll likely be dealing with mostly bots. Identifying and killing bots is not that difficult. I usually do it at the beginning of each match. But if you need help with fighting actual humans, check out this video right here.